Hi, everyone, and welcome to episode 1 of our CxE Podcast. I hope you tune in regularly to hear more of our podcasts. For today, we're really focusing on MCAS and our top questions that we often get from our field or customers. So I'd like to first introduce you to our team. Starting with our agenda, what exactly does CxE do? We get that question often, probably our top question. So I'd really like to go into great detail as far as what our MCAS and Azure ATP CxE team does. I'd like to first start off with our intro so you can get to know each team member within our PM team, because as you can see on the next slide when I get to it, our team has grown substantially in the last year. And following on to our team initiatives, I'd like to highlight what each of our PMs are doing within the team to get a better understanding, not only for the product itself, but how we're really moving out and looking ahead for the field and customers to really kind of get a hold of what's coming next. And then we're going to do a round robin. We're going to talk about our top MCAS questions that we get from our field or customers. Again, you're going to hear from the team that talks mostly about what they get when they're talking to our critical customers. And following on, last but of course not least, Sebastian's going to field in the roadmap discussion. We hope to do more of these regularly. You're going to see these from the product group, and it's going to be released every 6 months, hopefully. So stay tuned on that as well. All right, take a look at our team. I'm really excited about this slide. So I'm sure you guys have heard the names, but now you can actually put a face to the name. So what I'd like to do is start around the table. If you guys could go ahead, introduce yourselves, tell the team what you enjoy doing, how long you've been on the team, and what your focus area is. That would be fantastic. Dan.
Yeah, thank you. So Dan Edwards, I've been on the team for just a few months now, so fairly new, and I'm currently focused on our customers who are deploying and using Cloud App Security. My background comes from the field, actually. So my last role, I spent a few years as a technical consultant, helping our customers to build secure hybrid data centers.
Hi, everyone. My name is Erin Boris. I recently joined the team as a program manager, but prior to that, I was a customer involved heavily in the deployment of the Microsoft security stack in a healthcare organization. I really look forward to giving some input from what I enjoyed as a customer sitting in the engineering seat, as well as what has been added since I joined the CxE team.
Hi, everyone. I'm Susan Chaudhry, and I joined the team earlier this year. I've been with Microsoft for about 1.5 years now, and in the industry for about 6 years. Most of my background is with MCAS data loss prevention, well, actually overall data protection, and then working with government customers. I'm very excited for all of you to hear our podcast today, too.
Hi, everyone. My name is Caroline Lee. I joined the team back in March. So it's been about 6 months now, and I primarily focus on our proxy feature and gaining tons of different feedback and doing fun initiatives such as our blog series, which you'll hear about later. I also come from the field, so I was a consultant prior to joining this team for about 3 years, and very happy to be here. So nice to meet y'all.
John Lewis. I'm a program manager, primarily working on Cloud App Security. My background is I was actually a customer before joining Microsoft about 9 months ago, and my background was kind of centered around cloud operations and cloud security. So happy to be taking part in this podcast.
Hey everyone, my name is Brandon Lawson. I've been with Microsoft for 8 years now, where I started as a PFE. I primarily focus on MCAS and Azure ATP, and I also have a background in Active Directory and Active Directory security.
Hi everyone, this is Johan Mallet. I've been at Microsoft for about 13 years now and in this team for 4 years. And my background is also in Active Directory security. And now I'm focusing mostly on MCAS and Azure ATP. And the MCAS side, I focus on helping our customers using third-party applications and not just connecting it to our Office products.
Hi everyone, my name is Sebastian Molendijk. I'm based in Belgium and I joined Microsoft almost 2.5 years ago. And before that, I was working as a partner. I'm focusing mainly on Cloud App Security and how to integrate our product with our customer infrastructure and how to optimize their operations by providing, for example, some automation using Power Automate and Logic Apps.
Hi, my name is Gershon Levitz. I've been with Microsoft almost 15 years, in security over 20 plus years. I was actually the first employee to join the ATA team, product team, after the acquisition of Aorado. My focus is now with Azure ATP and Cloud App Security, with a focus working with customers and understanding and helping with the integrations with Microsoft Threat Protection.
Great. And just introduce myself again. I'm Barb Ogden. I manage the MCAS and Azure ATP teams. I came to engineering about 18 months ago. Before that, spending about 20 years in the security area, focusing on incident response and also threat intel. I think it would have been more fun, guys, if we would have done our post-COVID pictures here so we don't scare people when we do connect with them in the future. I think we've changed quite a bit since we've all been home, and it's great to see all the faces. So maybe we should have done that. It would have been a little bit more fun. All right, now that we got to know each team member, let's talk a little bit more about what it is CxE actually does. I like to think of us as a partner with the account teams and with Fast Track and our GBB for pre-sales. So on the readiness side, as you can see, we partner with account teams on last mile RFPs. A lot of people ask, well, what is that? The last mile RFPs, we work directly with our GBBs when an RFP comes in on the pre-sales side. And if there's some really deep technical questions, we're happy to partner and really answer those questions and field them. I know Joanna in marketing is starting to put together a list for RFPs that we can have those frequently asked question lists. So it will make it easier for the GBB to really fill out that RFP. A lot of times, and you guys know this more than anyone, the RFP comes in and it's a very quick turnaround. So we want to get that out as soon as possible. Also, we definitely deal with blockers that may be holding up a deal. Maybe there's a very critical customer and it's in that pre-sales motion, but the customer says, hey, look, I don't want to take on MCAS or Azure ATP for that matter until I get these blockers addressed by the product group or engineering. So we definitely are happy to step up and partner with our account teams to remove that blocker. Also, we deal with advanced use cases. There's customers at times that say, hey, look, I don't want to put MCAS in place or Azure ATP in place until this use case is identified and really clearly defined for me and my infrastructure. So again, our PMs are happy to step in, partnering with the account team to really rectify that advanced use case and get them to close the deal. So how can you reach us? Obviously, you can reach us with a get help for our deployment support. But in the event that it doesn't meet our criteria or that we need to push you over to Fast Track, who I say partner, but it's really more of our kind of extended team, if you will. And you'll hear about that more too on this podcast. I love the way Brandon's really been stepping up and driving that partnership with Fast Track. So you can go ahead and use the link below provided. If you have a customer that has less than 10,000 licenses, maybe they're an E5 customer and they're below that benchmark, you can reach out to them and they're happy to engage. Their team is going to grow to approximately 45 team members by mid-December. So it's a huge team that is very dedicated to MCAS and Azure ATP as well. As we move on with our partner with GBB, we do this quite often. A lot of customers come in and maybe they just need that help closing the deal. And maybe it's not holding up the deal, or maybe it's not an advanced use case. They just want to have a partner there to maybe do a POC or answer some technical questions on MCAS and Azure ATP. You can go ahead and request GBB resources by the link provided, aka.ms/1ask. We're also forming a partnership with our CSU for customers that maybe own E5, but don't necessarily have the intent to deploy at this time. Maybe they just need some assistance to really understand the value that MCAS and Azure ATP does bring. For that, we ask the CSU team to step in from CSG, and they're happy to do so. So what does it mean by deployment support? Yes, CxE is a deployment engagement program, but it's not the typical one that you would think of. We're a little bit different. And why is that? First of all, MCAS and Azure ATP, they're a little bit different in the life cycle of the product, right? We're not in incubation, we're in a mature life cycle. Obviously, you see us on the top quadrant of the Gartner Magic Quadrant. So for that, we really focus on working with EMS E5 customers that have greater than 10,000 licenses. Usually the customers that come to us already have the product deployed, but they really want help with advanced deployments, such as very advanced use cases. And you'll see that today in our podcast. I've asked some PMs to really talk about their initiatives and focus areas, and this will drive the understanding of advanced scenarios with you. Also, we partner for the product enablement. This is a huge deal. And if you've ever worked with us in the past, you understand that a key criteria for us is that we have this very established partner base. So you'll hear us talk about our customers in categories. So for our VIP and our design partners, we really want them to be our evidence partners for case studies and references. Oftentimes, this goes back to our readiness and our account teams that have customers that want to purchase, but they still want to have a one-on-one with a customer in their vertical that has already used MCAS and Azure ATP and can give that valuable insight. So that's where you come to for us. And these are very valuable for us. This is pretty much a priority for me to really get that partnership established with key customers. And also for product integration. So we're partnered with MTP and our MIP sister teams. And if you guys have worked with us, you know the partnership with those product integrations is key. It's vital to our success. So MCAS obviously is heavy reliant on integration. And with MTP really rolling out and the customization of MTP, and you'll see it a little bit deeper down in our roadmap, but it ties us all together. And so we definitely help customers with that as well. All right, moving on. So here's our team initiatives, and I'd like to take some time for the PMs to really talk about the focus areas that they have for the year. We'll start off with interactive guides. Brandon, you want to go ahead and talk to this?
Yeah, thanks, Mark. So the interactive guides are a great way to learn about MCAS and Azure ATP. It's a click-through experience where you don't actually have to stand up any of your own lab, any virtual environment. It's ready to go with a click of a button. Each one of these guides are about 15 to 20 minutes long. And within our team, we've created 3 different ones. So we have 2 for MCAS and 1 for Azure ATP. The first one I want to talk about is for Azure ATP. It's detecting suspicious activities and attacks. And the cool thing about this one is we actually show you the attacks that are going on and what it looks like within the Azure ATP portal and the MCAS portal. In addition to that, we have 2 MCAS ones. The first one is discover, protect, and control your apps within MCAS. And the second one is detecting threats and managing alerts within MCAS.
That's pretty good. I think that customers really, and the field really leverage the interactive guides too. It's a really good starting point, I think. I know a lot of customers have asked for it as well.
Exactly. And customers can actually go there right now. So if they go to cdx.transform.microsoft.com and search for either MCAS or Azure ATP, they'll be able to find those interactive guides.
Oh, thanks, Brandon. That's awesome. And we'll also provide the links later on too as a follow-up, because I know that we're going to be having a lot of links in here. I think I've already given a couple out too. So we'll definitely have those written down so you can come back, either re-listen to the podcast and write them down, or we'll have them at the end of the podcast as well. All right, John, I know that you've been working on the investigation guide. Do you want to give an update on that?
Yeah, it's completed. This one kind of felt really close to home for me because, as I mentioned when we first started the podcast, went through introductions, I mentioned I was a customer. And I started using Cloud App Security probably around 3 to 4 years ago for a pretty large university. We also had a hospital. And I was pretty ambitious when I first got that product, and I started connecting applications. I started lighting things up, which was fun and cool. But the next morning when I came in, I had all these alerts, and it was almost like a mini panic attack because some of them aren't necessarily what you want to see first thing Monday morning. And I struggled a little bit in the beginning with like managing the alerts, understanding like how do I go about investigating these? How do I resolve these? And so this rang really close to home for me. And so we had this initiative to build an anomaly detection guide. And the great thing about the detection guide is it actually shows you step by step, like here's how you conduct the investigation. And here's what you should specifically look for, like other indicators of compromise. So it's a tool set that wasn't there for me early on as a customer, that if I was a customer today, I would definitely start with this guide. We also provide you with context around each alert, which helps you and the teams better operationalize the playbook so that you can quickly remediate these alerts. And one other cool thing that we have actually started to hear from our customers is that they're using the guide as a way to onboard new hires. So we hope everybody will go and check it out.
Awesome. And for those of you that have been at Ready, you probably remember, John, I think, John, what was it, your second week at Microsoft when I drug you up on stage to talk about a day in the life of the customer. So
definitely.
Yeah, what a splash into Microsoft. You did great. That was awesome. All right, moving on to automation, the blog series. This is something I'm excited about. Caroline, Sebastian, you want to talk about the blog series and what we're doing so far?
Absolutely. Yay! So the Automation in Cloud App Security blog series is out. It is live. It's up on the tech community. Again, all the links will be provided later. But this series really showcases our integration with Power Automate, where we highlight our most advanced use cases by providing different templates, which are posted on GitHub. One of these templates is focusing on remediating infrequent country alerts. So maybe you're managing a team and you have employees who are off on vacation in Fiji, and you get an alert in an MCAS that, hey, one of your employees has traveled outside the country, not where they normally go. You can actually auto remediate this alert by just clicking dismiss in an email. So we have a bunch of different templates out, many more to come, and of course, feel free to provide feedback if there's anything you'd like to see. And then Seb, is there anything else you wanted to add, or did I miss anything?
No, that's great. And of course, we're going to provide a few other automation for popular use cases. I'm thinking about some automatic resolution for impossible travel and add some extra logic or exclusion capabilities. And in addition to that, we're also starting to work on the Azure Sentinel logic apps, so playbooks that will be integrated directly within the Sentinel console, so you can run also the same automation by using Logic App instead of Power Automate.
That's fantastic. Thanks, Caroline. Thanks, Sab. I think a lot of the field is going to get great use out of these blog series, so keep it up. All right, and lastly, Fast Track. I know I teased a little bit earlier on in the podcast, but Brandon, if you want to say just the partnership that we formed within the last 6 months and give an update on that, that'd be great.
Yeah, thanks, Bart. So with Fast Track, first let me explain what Fast Track actually is. So Microsoft Fast Track, it kind of helps customers quickly deploy Microsoft Cloud solutions. They kind of help customers pilot and drive intent and deployments. Currently, they have multiple programs for a lot of our products, but we're piloting and partnering with them right now for MCAS and Azure ATP. For their pilot, they're looking for around 30 customers to pilot with for these two products. To get into that program, you need to have somewhere between 150 and 10,000 E5 licenses in order to join the Fast Track program. And again, like Barb said at the beginning of this podcast, we are looking for more of those advanced scenarios within the CxE program. And then Fast Track is going to help you quickly deploy MCAS or Azure HTTP, kind of get you out the door, get you using the products as fast as possible.
And one thing I love about Fast Track, Brandon, is the update that they gave us that they're in every geographic location. So right. It's wonderful, the support that they can provide that otherwise we couldn't provide. So I think it's great that Fast Track has stepped up and really driving hard on that initiative.
Yes.
All right, what's new in MCAS? So this is my favorite part because I think it shows customers really and the field, we're driving the customer voice into the product. So Aaron, if you want to give an update on the general dashboard, that'd be great.
Thanks, Barb. So I want to tell you all a few things I loved about this dashboard from the engineering and technical perspective. First, right when you log into MCAS, you can see this snapshot of your current alerts, how many you have open, as well as any infected files, DLP events, or high-privileged OAuth apps that may need to be addressed. The next portion I enjoyed is the health status of any app connectors that may be in production today. The ability to see some of your configuration can really assist in giving that required attention as quickly as possible. Lastly is our integration with Azure Security Center and AWS, which speaks to your security posture and highlights any recommended best practices you may not be following while grouping them based on their severity. And just to tie everything together, I wanted to mention that each portion of the dashboard is interactive. So if you feel something needs attention immediately, you can pivot from the dashboard to that section of MCAS and begin working.
All right. And over to real-time malware detection. Dan?
Yeah, so this is a great new feature. So you may know we already have some malware detection policies out of the box, which will periodically scan your environment for malware. So we recently introduced this complementary feature that leverages our conditional access app control feature set to essentially allow you to, in real time, prevent your users from both either uploading or downloading files containing malware. So really, really powerful threat mitigation there. And I've been talking to a few customers who have implemented this and who've started to experiment with this, and they're loving it. It's a really simple to deploy feature. We've got the templates right there in session policy. So in a few clicks, you'll have this deployed. And it's just an additional layer that adds to your overall protection.
All right. Thanks, Dan. And like we said around the podcast earlier, too, if you have any questions with the topics we're discussing today, please feel free to reach out to any one of us and we'll give more detail. All right. Now it's time for the top MCAS questions. PMs, are you ready? So what we did was I pulled some top customer questions, and I'm going to put our PMs on the spot to answer these questions. So hopefully it'll be a fun and interactive session. I'm going to start with impossible travel. How to mitigate impossible travel. Johan, would you like to step up to this?
I would be happy to. So impossible travel is probably one of the top questions that I have. Most customers, when they start deploying cloud app security, they start looking at their alerts and they see that automatically they have zillions of impossible travel alerts, meaning somebody connected from, let's say, the US and from France at the same time. That should be a risky behavior, but there are a lot of exceptions. And thankfully, there are ways to configure those exceptions in the product. And there are a few things that customers, unfortunately, don't always know, and it's important to remind them. The top remediation is to simply configure the known corporate IP addresses within MCAS configuration. Doing that will automatically whitelist any travel that is between those two locations, and using those IP addresses to make sure that any connection that is from a corporate machine is automatically whitelisted. Number two, they can also decide that they want to exclude failed logons or failed logons when using legacy sign-ins, simply because there's no way to prevent attempts from adversaries around the globe. And in some cases, these are so numerous that they become irrelevant. In other cases, of course, customers would want to keep them, but that's a decision they can make in terms of how many alerts they are able to investigate and how many alerts they are currently getting. Now that's for mitigating and limiting the number of alerts they are getting. There is also good techniques to make sure that they can investigate those alerts. And one thing we actually released not so long ago was the ability to view the percentage of connections that are happening from each of those different locations that are part of an impossible travel. We can actually see that from the user page. And so when investigating an alert with regards to impossible travel for a specific user, we can go to his user page and review all the locations that they connected from, if they connected from these regularly or just a couple times. And that can really help shed some light on whether these seem risky or not.
Anyone else want to provide anything?
I just want to say, like when I was a customer, impossible travel, it does tend to be a little bit chatty just depending on the environment. But I will say that we probably identified the most compromised users based on starting our investigation with impossible travel. So it's a super valuable detection. So don't ever just flat out disable it. Try to go through the steps that Johan just mentioned to try to limit the amount of false positives.
That's fantastic. I think most of our customers ask impossible travel questions. I don't think we've ever had very many customers that actually don't ask about this. So this is a really good one that we can really continue to kind of give updates on as well. All right, MTP. Everyone's heard of it. Most may not understand what it does. So let's give the benefit of MTP. I'm going to pick John Sarazen. You want to talk to this?
Sure. I mean, it's a running joke, right? Like we're creating another portal to get rid of a couple more portals. But it's true. We really are trying to collapse Cloud App Security and Azure ATP into this single unified experience. One of the really great benefits, I think, for using MTP is that we've gone to this more incident-based management versus an alert-based management. So what does that mean? It means that we're pulling in Office ATP, Defender, Azure ATP, all the ATPs, including Cloud App Security, and we're correlating all those different alerts in those different service endpoints into a single incident. So you get that kind of that holistic view of that particular threat or that attack in your environment and how it impacts each one of those service endpoints. So you really have the ability to take very low fidelity alerts potentially. So maybe one alert in Cloud App Security by itself, doesn't really give you enough information that says definitively that account is compromised, but combined with, say, an alert from Defender ATP, those combined together are much higher fidelity, gives you that that visibility into a single portal. The last two things that I really enjoy about MTP specifically is the advanced hunting. And the advanced hunting is a query-based search, and there's a secondary component. So you can query and search across all the different service endpoints using the KQL language that we have at Microsoft. But it also allows you to do some auto healing. So you can create your own incidents based on this query language and do some automation and incident response behind it. So it has a ton of really cool benefits, and I can't wait till this product is fully matured.
That's a great point, John. Sarazin?
I was just going to say John covered that really well, but some of the feedback I've had from customers is really the fact that they can see all their alerts in one portal right now. And honestly, that's been like some of the greatest feedback that I've received. And of course, having the advanced hunting and the different features, but the fact is that we're continuously going through trying to mature this product. And so far, the feedback has been great.
Yeah, I think it's truly a better together story. And we say that all the time, but it truly is, right? Mm-hmm. All righty. And we partner with them quite well. So they have their own team and driving force, but we definitely bring them in to our customers, especially the critical customers. And it's been a very good partnership. All right, moving on, Sebastian, we saved you for last, sir. So we're going to talk a little bit about the roadmap and what's coming up next with MCAS. Seb?
Yes. So that's definitely something that we hear a lot from the field and the customer, what's coming next into MCAS. So for today, I wanted to talk about the two main areas where we're continuing to invest. And those two areas will be at first the endpoint CASB. For those who are not familiar with endpoint CASB, this is the integration with Microsoft Defender ATP. So we currently all have in a GA state capability to prevent access to unsanctioned application through this integration. So it means that people that would like to access application that have been tagged as unsanctioned in Cloud App Security from their Windows 10 devices will be blocked and will have such notification. First, we want to extend this capability to any device, meaning we want to extend it to macOS and also mobile. And we're also working on a preview on the capability to monitor and warn the user. So it means that as soon as a user will access an application that you've tagged as monitored, so this time not unsanctioned to prevent access, user will receive a notification telling them that this application should not be used by their because of their different company policies in place, and that they should use a specific application. You can also redirect people to a specific web page explaining all those things, and we're also going to allow people to override this block access by providing a business justification. So that's something that many companies have been asking for because they were afraid to block their user productivity by just preventing access to application. So this is definitely one of the biggest area that we're investing on for the next quarters. And of course, we're going to improve the general controls, like being able to apply different tags based on the user groups. That's probably one of the most required features. So that's something we're definitely working on. And in addition to that, we're also working on a way to allow the investigation from the discovery alerts into the advanced hunting in MTP. So we're working on capability to populate automatically the right KQL queries to allow our customer to investigate on the data that trigger an alert in MCAS. The second area of investment, or the main area of investment, is the integration with MTP. So we are working definitely to push now to GA the advanced hunting capability. So this is already in private preview with a limited subset of customers, and something that will come very soon. So we'll have all the activities that you have in Cloud App Security available in MTP, and you will be able to fulfill specific use cases that you cannot fulfill through the MCAS console, like, for example, aggregating the data or having some kind of distinct username of people that will be using a specific IP addresses. just to name a few examples. And we're also working on a great investigation experience where you will pivot from the MCAS activity log into a KQL query. So that's something that we're really working on. Of course, no ETA yet for this part, but this is definitely the vision that we have for this component. The second part of this MTP integration is providing auto IR and incident aggregation. So we already have this for a few alerts generating incident in MTP, and we're going to extend the type of incident based on the different kill chains that we know about the different alerts that are generated across our products. And that's it for the short to mid-term roadmap on my side.
Awesome. All right, so where can you find us? So the links will be available in our description box. So we talked a lot about where to go. Caroline, I think we're going to also put our MCAS docs link as well. So if you guys want further information on MCAS, and we'll go ahead and drop the Azure ATP docs as well, so you guys have some links to get to more documentation on the products. So we want to hear from you. If you think this is valuable and you like the podcast and what we're doing, we really want to focus the next ones on our top Azure ATP questions. And then one thing we wanted to highlight in its own session is our Rockstar training that's coming up. We've definitely partnered with our community to develop a very in-depth Rockstar training. So we wanted to highlight that in future sessions. So please leave a comment below. Reach out to one of us if you're interested in hearing more podcasts from the CxE team. We'd happy to continue to do these on a regular basis. Thanks so much for your time. Have a great day.